Good morning, yarn tubers. Welcome back to Wanderlust Crochet, where I am doing, hello, can I help you? That was not scripted. This, everybody, is Maisie. Maisie the marmot. Maisie the Ewok, because we're not really sure what species she is. But anyway, that's Maisie. And she apparently is going to be a part of this video. She's going to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay, so this is my video response to unpopular crochet opinions. And I've got screenshots of all of them. So, first one is, her name is Rena DeGrace. And she says, lots of fringe. Look at that ripple with all those fringe. I agree. Fringe is awesome. I wish I could actually find the picture and then insert it right here to show you this beautiful hot pink little girl's poncho I made that had fringe all the way down, just thick, straight fringe all the way down the front and back. And it really made a difference. Okay, so let's get back to my other screenshots here. We've got some doozies here. So let's start with Poor Spring. Poor Spring, the fiber enthusiast. You know, you have to love her because she's not right. Spring, the fiber enthusiast, says, I love to untangle yarn barf. You know what? Oops, I dropped you guys. Hello. You know what? She can't help it. Love you, Spring. I do not enjoy untangling yarn barf. I want to get on with my project, and from now on, I just ordered a couple more of those wool genies. My projects will be an outside pull. Hannah Ciderus. We're having issues. Okay. Hannah Ciderus. I do not like to feel yarn in my hands. I do not like to smell yarn. Okay, I'm kind of torn on this. I like the feel of yarn. Like, I love the feel of this crochet along that I'm doing. You know, it's Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn, right? That we all know, those of us who have been using it for several years, no, it is not nearly as soft as it was. Like the first time I tried it, I was like, hallelujah. But it is, when I'm working it up in this hag stitch, this Christmas Afghan crochet along that I'm working on, it is so squishy in the hag stitch. It's just, oh my goodness. That crochet along will start in September. So anyway, I love the feel of that. And I didn't put it to my face because I want to smell the acrylic and the dye. I don't. I absolutely do not. And I'm sorry, I think that's weird. So I agree with her on that. Okay, J Hook Crochet. She says, this is our beautiful Reggie. She says, I love homespun. You know, I think, you know, I finally started to branch out into some of these kinds of yarns, and I have to agree. You know, in the beginning, I would have been so frustrated. I would have thrown the hook across the room. But after, you know, some years, you kind of get into your groove, your cadence, you know, and all that. And you find out what kind of hook works best for you. With different kinds of yarns, you probably have different kinds of hooks to use with different kinds of yarn. And I think homespun is awesome. Okay, Spring again. Gotta love Spring. She says, hunting hooks in the couch is more fun than Easter egg hunts. You know, like I said, you gotta love her. She's just not quite right. So I'm so lazy that if I'm, you know, if I got myself situated, like I'm getting myself situated here to work on this Hag's Christmas Wheel Afghan, once I get situated, I don't want to get up again for a long time, you know, till I've made some progress. And when I have to get up and start hunting around for my hook or my glasses, like, has anybody seen my glasses right now? Yeah, so I I don't find it fun, especially when I'm living in such a tiny space like my Freightliner or my yarn bus back in Idaho. She's just, what can you say about spring? Gotta love her. Okay, we got another one from J Hook Crochet, our lovely Reggie. I don't buy yarn just because it's on sale. Some yarns I wouldn't even take for free. For example, Ogo. I have never used it. I bought it once as a gift for somebody else, and they were so excited to give it a try because everybody's talking about it on YouTube and Facebook and wherever. Mewing. I'm not interested. I don't think it's worth the price. You know, the yardage, you know, the price per yard. I don't see the value of something like that. But, and yeah, if a yarn is on sale, so here's what I've told people. If I happen to, for the first time ever, walk into one of those Hobby Lobby clearance sales, there are 2 projects I'm thinking of right now that I would actually go ahead and buy the yarn for those projects during the clearance sale. Otherwise, I'll just wait until, you know, next year when I'm getting ready to do those projects and make sure I go on a 30% off week, or maybe I'll find between now and then a better value and a great yarn that would work for those projects. I buy yarn for projects. And yeah, the only reason I would go to the 75% off clearance is to get yarn that I have committed, you know, for projects I have committed to doing. Reggie and I agree on a lot, that's for sure. Rachel King, I love you. I love complicated patterns. All these easy beginner patterns all over the place drive me nuts. They're boring to me. You know what? You can see that as arrogant, or you can see that as those of us who are, you know, bored with easy beginner patterns are kind of being left out, you know. Yes, I am a big advocate for kind of a standardization and making things pretty standard in the industry so that we don't confuse beginners. I think it's important to promote our fiber arts to people who, you know, never thought maybe this is something I could be into, so that we have future generations, you know, performing these fiber arts, right? But I also feel that we really have to hunt to find patterns that challenge us. You know, just because it's easy doesn't mean it's great. You know, I see people who do easy beginner patterns over and over and over again because they're afraid of failure. They're afraid that if they try something and they don't get it, that they can't work through it and that they've wasted yarn. Whatever their fears are, I think that these people have, the people I'm thinking of have a lot of potential, and they can, take on some of these more intermediate, advanced projects and learn through them and become a better crocheter for it. I know that when I did the Phoenix and the Ardith, I became a better crocheter for doing those projects, and they're amazing. And now there's another one out there. What's it called? The Fruit Garden crochet along. Maybe 2 years out I'll do that one, but I'm already thinking about yarn for that project. I already have a yarn list from, I think, the Wool Warehouse of yarn that I wrote it down, and I already have yarn set aside for that because it's so beautiful. It is something I really want to accomplish in my lifetime. So yeah, I agree. Rachel, I'm with ya. Lady Bird Loves. This is our girl from over the pond. Waistcoat is my favorite crochet stitch. I can't think of a crochet stitch that I absolutely hate. I like the waistcoat. I like a whole bunch of, I like being creative with stitches and the way it makes that fabric look, whether you're doing a lacy open work kind of pattern or if you're doing something that, just creates a texture in a tighter weave. I love them all. I think they're great. I agree, girl. Ricola's crochet corner. Something's in my way. Get out of my way. I got a dang. Okay. Oh, those notifications. Okay. This is Crystal from up north. Joining granny squares together is relaxing. I agree. And I think any kind of square or motif that you take the time to put together, I think it makes that piece that much more special. And let's talk about making pieces, making the piece that you've worked on that much more special. I love Afghans, and the bigger and the more complicated, the more I like them. Why? Because I feel like that is something, when I make something, I don't want to make something just, sometimes I can make something and toss it to the wind and see if anybody catches it. I don't want to make all my projects like that. I want to make projects for someone in particular who I know for sure is going to appreciate it. I'm not just going to guess, look what I made for you, and they're like, ugh, it's a granny square vest. Well, there are people out there who love granny square vests. But I'm not going to guess that about somebody in my family, in my circle of friends, or whoever. I'm not just going to guess that they're going to appreciate that. When I make something, it is made for somebody in particular, and I know for sure that they would appreciate at least somewhat, what it is, and they would think it's pretty, that they would actually like it. So this, granny square comment by Crystal brings me to this point. My unpopular crochet opinion, I believe if you're going to make something, take the time to give of yourself to make something like an Afghan, which is something everybody can use. And if it's done in a way that they will like it, not just doing it to please myself, but doing it for someone else, that they will throw that on the back of their couch, that they will use it on their bed, that they will give it to their child, put it on their kid's bed. I am also going to take time to do blocking. I love a good, clean, crisp granny square or any kind of motif. I love the way that looks. And I'm going to take the time to put a very good border on my project. I think that's a nice frame. It frames out the work you've done, and it also shows that person, if they get something that's, still kind of curling up and some blocks are stretched out and some are kind of squished together. It doesn't show that person the respect you have for them to take the time to make those motifs crisp and make everything fit in a beautiful, beautiful manner and frame it out with a beautiful border. I think it shows respect for the person you're making it for. Just my unpopular crochet opinion. Okay, so we got up to crystals. I got a couple more screenshots here. Barbara Borealis, 85. It is awesome and fun. It is an awesome and fun experience to detangle yarns. Hours and hours of pure excitement. Are you being sarcastic? Because if you are, I'm right there with you. What do we got here? Yaya Creations. When the first thing says, okay, don't kill me. Mine is, I think granny squares are overrated and overused. Okay, you know what? I agree. I think that the granny stitch, if we're trying to, I want to encourage people to at least appreciate our art. And if we're giving something that's done in a lazy granny or some form of a granny, and they're like, oh, that looks like something from the 70s. That's their impression of it because they're not within the crochet world like we are. This goes back to making sure that what I'm giving something is something I'm pretty confident they will like and appreciate. And to throw a granny square blanket at somebody, or a granny vest, or a granny shawl, or a granny this, or a granny that, why not take the time to do something that would really respect that person's opinion and respect the fact, that they're not, granny squares just look like 1972 crochet, we have some great patterns now. Now, I believe that a granny square blanket, even a small throw, is kind of a rite of passage. That is a stepping stone. That is something we should, in our pursuit of crochet growth and excellence, that everybody does at least one. And that's why, I am trying to help beginners learn how to do the granny square. It's just like paying your dues, right? To do it. I've done one, and I'm working on another one for a tutorial for the Crochet Skills development course. Only because, first of all, the history of the granny square. I love the history of the granny square. And second of all, I do think it's something we should know how to do, because it helps us, if you want to do a chart of a granny square, it's complicated, but it helps us understand the geometry and the spacing and the angles and how you match those stitches together. And the granny square is a great teaching tool. Not everybody is going to appreciate just a plain old granny square blanket. Maybe a mosaic granny square blanket, like, one of the Stitch of the Week videos from Creative Grandma. Love the mosaic granny square. I'm trying to make a version of that for a future tutorial, and that'll be cool. Okay. Let me see if I'm pronouncing this right. Thriss, Thryss, Thriss in stitches. I dislike granny stitches and granny squares. I think they're ugly. Laugh out loud. Okay. Same response. They can be very ugly. They really can. They look like old crochet. Seriously, out of Modern Woman in 1962. It can be. Think about the recipient of your item, and step back when you look at the picture of a pattern. Here's my unpopular crochet opinion. Don't look at that exclusively with the idea of, oh, that would be so easy and fun to make. Look at that in the eyes of somebody who might be a recipient. Someone who does not appreciate crochet. If you can't make something for that person that they would kind of take pause to, then don't make them anything at all. Don't make them another granny square sweater or Afghan, Different motifs, though. There are motifs out there that are really beautiful. So just consider your recipient. Who's going to get that? Are you just going to toss that out here? If anybody wants us, take it. Then, I don't know. My personal unpopular opinion is you don't respect those other people enough to make something they'd really like. Bailey, Beverly girl, Bailey, neuter cat on the prowl. Yarn, barf, and frogging are my two favorite things. Not, okay, another sarcastic one. I'm looking for real unpopular opinions here. Spring, here we go again. Actually, I agree with her on this. I love to work with crochet thread number 10 or even smaller. Look at that. There's like a little peek into sanity right there. There's hope for our spring. Oh, hallelujah. I do love working with steel hooks and crochet thread. I love small. Crochet 10 or smaller. I agree. A lot of people think, oh, that would be so hard. No, get yourself a good pair of reading glasses, some good lighting, and you are not snagging that thread. That thread doesn't snag. It's like the tiniest little miniature cord, and it's wonderful. It is a wonderful art, and I hope that some of you at least at some point make like a fillet bookmark for somebody with their name across it. You go to a website called Stitch Fiddle and you can work out those squares. It's awesome. Okay. Poor Spring. We're picking on Spring today because she's so fun. Okay. Thriss in stitches. Again, Thryss. I enjoy weaving in ends. I find it relaxing. I do too. I do want to, you know, I kind of want to see the end of that project finally, because I'm not very good at getting to the end of projects. But weaving in ends to me is just as much of an art form as the crochet itself. And I want to be very mindful of how those stitches are done. I don't want them showing and I don't want them coming out. There are several really good videos. There's 150 really bad ones about weaving in ends, but there are some really good ones out there. Mikey from the Crochet Crowd says do 3 times. Well, I was just watching a video for that fruit garden crochet along, and I learned something about weaving in ends from her. So see, there's another thing you can learn from these more complicated patterns. Okay, crochet done my way with Wanda. You know, she's in the loony bin with spring. Let's just say that. Love you. She's a truck driver. What do you expect? I actually enjoy untangling yarn. Yarn barf doesn't bother me. It's just part of getting the skein started from where the skein is not capitalized, meant to start. Well, a lot of skeins are not meant to start from the center, but when they actually have an arrow, you know, this way means outside pull, this way means inside pull. You know, I don't want to dig out half of the middle of that skein. I don't find that enjoyable. I want to get into the rhythm, the cadence of the pattern. You know, that's what I'm looking forward to. And yarn barf just slows me down from making any progress. But again, I have ordered more wool genies from the wool warehouse, and I'm gonna just, as you know, as it's appropriate, I'm gonna just stick to an outside pull using the wool genie. Okay. How we got one more little list here. Here we go. I just love when yarn weights are, oh, Marian, you're just being sarcastic. I'm looking for opinions. Misclassified. It can really screw up a project, but not buying enough yarn when they say 4 weight is only 3 happens more often than not. Okay. We're looking for unpopular crochet opinions here. I know, Marian, it's irritating when they do that. Gumdrop forever. I just love untangling yarn. It teaches me patience. I will send it all to you. You and Wanda and Spring can all just hang out in your little rubber room, and the rest of us will just breathe. Oh, Daigo, are you being sarcastic, or are you actually giving me an unpopular crochet opinion? I love when I get major yarn barf in the middle of a project. Okay, I think that was just sarcasm. Okay, I don't know if it was or not. So anyway, those are my unpopular crochet opinions and my response to them. I have a short list, not a real short list, of who I am tagging. Let's write them down so that I get them in the description box. You guys hang on a second. Almost done, hang on. I'm remembering everybody that was on that list that's not here with me. Okay, there are 10 of them. Let me get them wrote down. Hang on. Okay, I think that's everybody I had on my list that I was gonna tag. So I'll tag you guys in the description box. Crafty Yarn Owl with Darla, Spring the Fiber Enthusiast. Sorry, girl, I love to pick on you. Reggie from J Hook Crochet. I know you're moving. Beverly, the cat on the prowl. Yaya's, Ricola's, Crystal, Ladybird Loves, Connie, Just Another Stitch, Roaming with Rover Robin, and Karen from KB Fibers. Now, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't jump on the bandwagon. I get pressured a lot to join, you know, so many non-yarny things about me, which I did a couple years ago, so I'm not doing it again. You know, all these things, and I'm sorry. I get so much going on. It's not that I want to disrespect the person who has tagged me. It's hard to do sometimes. So I get it, you know, Reggie, you're moving, you know, or if you just don't feel like you want to do it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. We all are busy. We're doing a lot of things. But if you'd like to do it, tag some others, you know, poll your viewers. What are your unpopular crochet opinions? And then do a video response to it and tag some more of our friends. I know we have lots of friends out there. I just wanted to keep it under to 10 or less because I didn't want to go on and on about it. So you guys have fun with that. You know, unpopular crochet opinions. I love the waistcoat. I love weaving in ends. I love, you know, joining granny squares. I really love blocking and putting a border on a project or blocking a whole project. I love all that. I don't like yarn barf. And Christy, that's not a personal attack against you. That's a response. I don't like, you know, yarn barf. I don't like messing with that. So I'm going to go to the Wool Genie and just do an outside pull every time. Okay, so what do you guys think? Was that fun? That's fun. You know, and if Spring does it, let's go pick on her. She's fun to pick on. She's tough. I love Spring. I love all you guys. So have a great day. Bye-bye.